So today we're going to be doing something a little bit different from what we normally do, which is usually high-level abstract theory, and instead we're going to bring you a product review for a service that I found recently. We're going to be looking at Hyper.sh to see if it really is as easy as they claim to spin up a Docker container. Could this be the perfect development or continuous delivery platform? Let's find out. Hyper.sh are actually offering a very easy to use Docker compatible CLI interface as well as a RESTful interface to a managed Docker service and per second billing. They'll even throw in a $20 credit to let you try the service and give it a shot. However, do note that you need a valid credit card in order to take advantage of that $20 credit. So in this review, we're actually going to look at installation, configuration, spin up time, access, shutdown, and just general usability. So after signing up, the web UI presented me with a step-by-step approach, and the first thing we did was set up some credentials, which actually took only a few seconds. Installation on Windows 10 was really easy, and the total time involved was mostly download of a roughly 5 megabyte binary and the time to unzip and then move it to disk. Once I'd actually unzipped the binary and moved it to disk, it was just a simple case of adding it to my Windows path location and I was good to go. The bare minimum configuration I had to do was actually run the hyperconfig command and provide it with the access and secret key from the first step. And that was it. It created a config file, it was on disk, it was ready to go. And I was actually quite impressed with the interface that took those details from you, created a base configuration file, and just allowed you to just get on with going for it. So the first action that I actually took was to follow along with the tutorial in the documentation, which had me creating my first data volume. And with just a single command, I had a fresh new data volume with the size and the name specified, spun up and ready to go. Spinning up a Docker container will actually feel very familiar to Docker users, which isn't me, and is actually very quick and very simple. Now, spin up time actually took between 18 and 20 seconds. The advertised time is 5 seconds. However, if like me, you remember the process of setting up a server was to actually rack a physical box and then pixie boot the operating system on there, then I think 18 to 20 seconds is more than acceptable. And grabbing an IPv4 address in order to attach to the container was again a single command. However, it was actually a separate command to then attach the IP address to the container. It would be nice if the first command that allocates the IP could also take a container name and automatically attach it for me, but I'll live. At this point I wanted to access the container, however I couldn't use Cygwin. Now this is a shortcoming in Cygwin, not Hyper.sh. So you'll see from here onwards that I switched over to command.exe in order to access and manage Hyper.sh from this point forward. Once I was in command.exe, I actually found that accessing the instance was exactly as advertised. It was a single command and I was straight in, and there we go, we had a Linux kernel and we were ready to rock. Now at this point I decided to deviate from the tutorial a little bit and try and create a snapshot. Now this actually failed with an error message which for me was very nondescript and didn't really help much. The documentation also didn't really expand on this further. However, I'm sure this is just a small blip, and I think possibly I may have done something wrong. I'm not too sure. Could have been my mistake. I think it's a minor issue. And so with a running container with a new volume attached and a public-facing IPv4 address, I decided to go and check out the web UI just to see how all that information was actually reflected over there. Overall, it is a very simple and effective UI. It's very clean, it's not cluttered, it gets you straight to the information that you need and it presents you with everything you could possibly want from this type of service. I was, however, disappointed to see that I could only manage a few things in the web UI, such as the public IPv4 address that I'd allocated to my container, but I couldn't manage the container itself. Overall, I think Hyper.sh is an excellent service. I think it's a great offering, and it's going to be really interesting to see how it evolves over the coming years. Thanks for watching, and I hope that this video gave you a great but quick introduction to Hyper.sh. If you enjoyed the video, then consider giving us a like and maybe click and subscribe for more. And of course, have a great day. Cheers. It's still November.